Chris Sims, Pro Football Talk Live co-host, Football Night in America, former NFL quarterback. Always great to see you, Chris. All right, help me understand this. Baker Mayfield, in the span of 24 hours, is going to have to absorb the Rams playbook. We're told all the time it's complicated. Everybody's got different terminology. You've got different routes. You've got audibles that are different. Is it that easy that you, in 24 hours, could go and start for the Rams and be able to play tonight?
No, it's not that easy. It's not. Now, where, he has a little bit of an advantage, or at least, maybe some chance to make things work. And, man, this is, quite the uphill battle, is that he at least has been in two places that are rooted in this West Coast system, right? So with Kevin Stefanski, even Ben McAdoo in Carolina this year, it's all in the same tree as what McVay learned. Now, it's just the ability. So a lot of the rules will be the same, but it's the ability to transition the language in your offense, Dan, where hey, double slant might have been bangle, right, for the last year or whatever. But now they call it lion or some other. It's instances like that. So it's going to be your ability to spit the play out in the huddle, and then organize it all in your brain, literally as you're walking to the line of scrimmage.
Give me an example of a play you called in Tampa and then a play you called in Denver. The exact same play, right? But what would be the difference if I'm in the huddle with you?
Oh, okay. Well, and then see, now that would be a harder transition. This is why I give it somewhat of a chance, because McDaniels and the Denver offense, the New England, the Raiders now, it was totally different. And I laughed with this about Derek Carr earlier in the year, because it might have been, let's say, we might have called, you're making me on the spot here trying to figure out a play here, but where in Gruden, it might have been double wing right, 200 jet Vegas. Let's say it's 200 jet Vegas. And now within 200 jet Vegas, we had a double slant on the backside, and on the front side, we had a slant and a flat route, right? So there's that play. Okay. And man, I got to remember what the hell they call this, but in Josh McDaniels' offense, it would have been zero flood slot, 364 tosser slant flat, right? So it's a little bit different. Tosser was two slants, right? And I probably could have better examples here, but I'm choking under the damn pressure. Now you see why I wasn't that great of a quarterback right there.
But that's a lot to pick up. Can you simplify? I'd say dumb down, but I don't know if that's fair to Baker Mayfield. Right. But how does Sean McVay simplify this that Baker Mayfield could start tonight?
Right. Well, I think, he gets to I think the offense is somewhat dumbed down or simplified right now without Matthew Stafford anyways. And, having to play Bryce Perkins, who's a young quarterback, and learning his way in the NFL, I think they've had to go there a little bit too. So what you do is, hey, Baker, here's the plays we had in for the game plan tonight. Which ones are you comfortable within your mind, where you feel like the rules, the language, and you can kind of spit it out? And I think he could keep it simple that way. I mean, it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. It's not. But like I said, because it's a similar offensive structure there, it might be doable. I just can't imagine it looking real pretty.
If I would have told you in August Baker Mayfield will be the Rams starting quarterback, Russell Wilson will be the quarterback of the worst offense in football, Jalen Hurts and Tua will be MVP candidates, and the Lions will have a better record than the Rams or the Packers, which one would you have said no?
Probably the Lions having a better record than the Rams and the Packers. That'd probably be the one that, jumps out. You said a lot of good ones there. But with the Tua and the Hurts thing, I saw the potential with the team a little bit, and I had said some things like, this could be dangerous. Watch out for this. What was the first one you said there?
Baker is the starting quarterback for the Rams.
Yeah, of course, I never would have thought that.
But also Russell Wilson,
yes, Dan, that's probably the leader in the clubhouse right there.
They were a quarterback away, right? That was right. It was going to be Aaron Rodgers was going to slide in there and all that, unleash all of that potential.
Yes, and it's not even close. And You know me, I'm not always about putting the blame on the quarterback and all of that stuff, but I have a little bit of a soft spot for Nathaniel Hackett, and I understand he hasn't done everything right here, but it's plain and simple. You watch every Broncos game, or not every game, but you've seen the ones that are on national TV. Yeah. I sit here and have done a few videos on social and things like that where it's just bad. I mean, it's as bad as it can get. And Denver's had to actually dial back the offense even more and make it more simple to kind of help him out and make it work. But I never would have thought I saw a guy that was kind of on a Hall of Fame trajectory to clearly being the worst quarterback in his division. That's another one that's a pretty big shocker up there with the Lions' better record than the Packers and Rams.
Okay, if I say more likely going into the Hall of Fame, Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford.
Ooh. I guess.
How is this a question?
I'm not going to count Russell. I'm going to still go with Russell.
No, Russell is the guy, not Matthew Stafford.
Well, I hold Matthew Stafford in a higher regard, than maybe the rest of the public of the world. That's where I just so I view him maybe a little higher than everybody else because I know the crap he was involved with in Detroit for such a long time.
Yeah, but even when they went to the Super Bowl, Stafford led the NFL in interceptions.
That's okay. He also was one of the leaders in touchdowns, and the interception thing is getting blown out. The quarterbacks that were up there in interceptions last year were all the quarterbacks that were, towards the Final Four and the Final Eight of football, too. So he was aggressive. He does do some dumb things every now and then. But, yeah, I'm still going to go with Russell Wilson. His work ethic, what I've seen.
I mean, Stafford is more talented.
Yes, as a thrower for sure.
Yes, he is. But Russ is a 9-time Pro Bowler, went to 2 Super Bowls. It feels like there's recency bias that's hurting Russell Wilson right now.
Well, I don't disagree with that. But, I always play the game, too, of like, well, what would Matthew Stafford's life look like if he got to go play with the Legion of Boom and hand it off to Marshawn Lynch and win a Super Bowl by really being a game manager? But we go, hey, he won a Super Bowl. And you go, well, damn, actually, I think about it. I mean, Russell, did he do anything that, special that year? No. And then it was kind of the next year where they started to go more in on him and he started to make plays and do that. But I certainly think Matthew Stafford's career trajectory, and I think we lose this sometimes, and would be a lot different. He went to a place where we all look at until just here about 3 weeks ago to go, the place was a disaster. It's been a disaster ever since I was alive, except for like 2 or 3 years. And other than that, it's been bad. So, that hurts his chances there as well.
He's Chris Sims, Pro Football Talk Live co-host with our good buddy Mike Florio and a contributor to Football Night America. Can the Packers go on a run here and salvage the season and slip into the playoffs?
I find that highly unlikely. I do. One record. The teams they got to play. I know the Rams. Hey, they're better than them. But the Dolphins, the Vikings, and Lions. I mean, those are. They're not as good as the Dolphins. The Vikings, they're not as good as them. The Lions, we've already seen them beat them. The Lions got it going on.
I mean, the Vikings. Vegas looks at the Vikings as frauds.
Yeah, I do too a little bit.
Detroit is a 2.5-point favorite.
Yeah, I know.
Against the Vikings.
It is crazy when you look at the optics of it. Minnesota is one of the enigmas of the year. I know they've won what 5 out of the last 6, and I feel like I don't feel like they've been outplayed in almost every one of those games. So I think that's where it's weird. I don't know if there's one elite aspect of their football team, right? And I think if you took talent on talent, we'd probably go with more positions in Detroit than we would think we would at base level. It's just Minnesota's a little bit more veteran, battle-tested. They got some guys that have been in the playoffs and been in big games, and Kirk Cousins. And the Lions have just found themselves here over the last 3 or 4 weeks and figured out how to win football games and do things the right way. I'm still shocked to see Detroit favored, but not shocked that it was at least a close point spread there. And the Lions have some things about them that they're very positive.
I know they are a dangerous team. If I said you could have next season Kirk Cousins as your quarterback or Geno Smith as your quarterback,
ooh, I love me some Geno. And I was a big hey, Geno's going to have a good year. And if they lose games, it won't be because of Geno. I know the guy a little bit too much. He used to work out with my dad and brother. They always just, oh my gosh, Christopher Geno, he can really throw it. He can really move. He's smart. He understands it all. Perception of what happened in New York, almost blew up the reality, and they never gave him a damn chance again. I'd still go with Kirk Cousins, but it's not the gap of like what people think. Geno, this ain't system quarterback manage the game type of crap here. That's where it's crazy.
Geno is 2 right now in quarterback rating.
Yeah.
And Cousins is 21st.
Right. And Cousins is not having his best year, but Geno, that's where you go back into the Russell Wilson conversation a little bit. And Geno, it's hard not to look at Seattle and go, man, how Russell had to be holding them back to a degree about what they're doing on the offensive side of the ball. I haven't seen them do this and what they're doing offensive scheme-wise and play-wise when they had Russell Wilson. But Geno's physical ability is greater than Kirk Cousins, to your point. Yeah. It is. But yeah, I'm not going to quite – I'd like to see a little more evidence there before I start to throw him over Kirk Cousins, who I feel like is, a little too disrespected at times.
I know that you have a great relationship with Kyle Shanahan, his play calling, his genius. Now you got Brock Purdy as his quarterback. Yeah. So Brock Purdy will do what for the 49ers the rest of this regular season?
I think he'll be pretty good. That's what I think. You like that?
Okay.
I had to do it. I don't know why I'm that dork that just
horrible.
had to do
That's
that.
what Fritzy would have done.
That's why me and Fritzy get along. We're both dorks. We understand. Yeah.
Who's purdier, Brock Purdy or Jimmy Garoppolo?
Oh, well, nobody beats Jimmy Handsome Garoppolo. Come on. Are you kidding me?
Okay, so how does Shanahan put Purdy in and basically say, I want you to do what Jimmy G does. You don't have to win a game, just don't lose a game.
Right. Well, I think that's what you're saying right there. The 49ers, the good thing about them is they've never been a quarterback-centric team. It's never been about, we need you to throw for 350 and touchdowns. Will they maybe not be quite as aggressive in the pass game? I would expect so, yes, to dial it back a little. But, man, he did some high-level stuff in that game last weekend. And against the Dolphins defense, that puts a lot of pressure on you. Yeah. So, Shanahan, with that defense, Deebo Samuel getting healthy, the offensive line, it's the first time I've saw the real traditional running plays start to get going here lately with the 49ers. So smash mouth, he's going to come up with, just like we saw with Dallas this year, I think it's one of these things that can bring your team together a little bit. Defense is going to go, man, we got our backup in, we got to play better. Deebo and Ayuk and McCaffrey and Shanahan, they're going to go, we got to find a few more tricks to help the guy out. And, again, I maybe have taken them out of the Super Bowl conversation as of right now because I'd like to see a little bit more. But the 49ers are still going to be a pain in the butt in the playoffs and would not be shocked if they won a game or two with Brock Purdy at quarterback.
Is there a chance that OBJ does not play this season?
I think there is a chance, yes. One, from what I had heard, and I think I was on with you maybe early on in this process, I had heard early on from some teams and said this with Florio on Pro Football Talk that Odell was looking for long-term contract at a spot. And I was always like, well, that's not going to work. Nobody in football is going to just go, yeah, we believe you're going to be better and we'll give you money. And wait, you're a guy that kind of took a long time after the last ACL injury, and now this one's taking a long. Yeah, we're going to give you $15 or $20 million a year. I never thought that was realistic. So that demand has to end. For me, the best play for him and the best play for the teams that want to sign him is, 1 year, figure it out type of thing, and then hopefully you can show everybody how awesome you are in the playoffs and put pressure on us to sign you to a long-term deal, or you get to go somewhere else. But the more this goes on and the more I hear it, it seems to be getting a little dicier as we go along here.
It's always great to talk to you, Chris. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
All right.
You the man, Dan.
All right.
Tell the guys I said hi.
I will. Guys, Chris Sims says hi.
Hi,
That's
Chris.
Chris Sims, Pro Football Talk Live co-host and Football Night America contributor.